Hello and welcome to Talking One Piece. Guess who's back, 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 back again, again, again. I am back, back, back. No one cares, cares. Guess who's back, 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 guess who's back. Da 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 da. Anyways, hey, sorry for the pretty much year-long hiatus, but I'm back now and I'm ready to talk One Piece. And this topic is a topic I've been wanting to talk about for such a long time. And with One Piece World Seeker, the new game almost being released, I think it's perfect time for me to talk about this. This is my dream One Piece game, and I bet when I explain it to you, it'll be your dream One Piece game. Not only would it be the best One Piece game by far, it would be one of the greatest games of all time. Now, what is the name of the game, you ask? Well, I'll call it One Piece Set Sail. Pretty good name, right? And basically, you don't play as a Straw Hat, you don't play as Luffy, you don't play as one of the characters in One Piece, you create your own character. You get to choose the race, you get to choose the height, you get to choose the age, you get to choose the agenda, you get to choose the appearance, you get to choose everything. It would be an extremely in-depth customization process where you truly get to make the character you want. And to begin the game, you get to choose which blue you start off in. So you begin in one of the blues, whether it's north, south, east, or west. Now, when is this game set, you ask? Great question, by the way. The game is set not too long after Roger's execution, but before Luffy sets sail for One Piece. So the cool thing about that would be, if you go to Goa Kingdom, you'll see a young Luffy and can talk to him about Shanks and about him wanting to be king of the pirates. A possibility, which I'm not too sure of, it's very hard to find the exact point I'd want this game to be, but possibly 5 years before present day, after Ace left Goa Kingdom, where Luffy is still 14 years old. But what I'm thinking might be even more better is pretty much when Luffy's 17, probably about the same year he's ready to take off. And the good thing about that is that you don't have to worry about continuity. You don't have to worry about, where the hell would the Straw Hats be at this time? And you wouldn't want the Straw Hats to literally be stuck on an island the whole time. But before they set sail, they were. Luffy was in Gold Kingdom pretty much the whole time. Zoro was in the dojo the whole time, so it makes a lot more sense. And the awesome thing is, because I'm trying to think of this game as realistically as possible. I don't want to just be like, it's a game where you can do everything. I'm trying to think, okay, how would it work? And for a long time, I almost made it that you could only just be a pirate, because I couldn't quite figure out how it would work if you were anything else but a pirate. But I'll go into more depth of this. This is going to be a long video, but I'm so excited, and I think you guys are going to love this idea and want this game to be made. I think you're going to also hate me because this is such a good idea. But you know what? I actually figured it out, and I think you could make a game in which you get to choose whether to be a pirate, marine, CP agent, or a revolutionary. You get to choose any of those and make your own true path in the One Piece world. And this is an open world. You get to go everywhere. One Piece Set Sail would be the name, and that's literally what it is. You get to set sail and explore the entire world of One Piece. So here's an example of how races would work, because I wouldn't want races just to be appearances. I'd want them to literally affect and boost your character, or weaken your character in certain ways. So it's actually a strategic thing based on how you would want your character to be, to maybe choose a different race which would heighten that way you would want to play. For example, if you wanted to focus on kicks like Sanji, you might want to make your race a long leg tribe. And yes, you can be any single race, except, and I think I'll make an exception for a giant. Now, when you make a character, you can definitely choose height. So you get to choose your character to be probably as tall as about Katakuri, which is huge. That's almost a giant status. But the reason why I don't want it to be a true giant is they're way too big. And I'm thinking if you're just in a town or you're trying to go into a building, that mechanics doesn't work for a giant. As for a dwarf or a Tontada, maybe, but I'm thinking maybe leaving them out as well. But other than that, every other race. A human would be the most balanced, the most average race you can choose. Fishman would be a little stronger, but slower, and slower at least on land, but the good thing is they could also swim in the ocean. You could literally go into the depths of the ocean. I'd probably put a limit to how low you could go, so you might only be able to hit the bottom of the ocean if you're in a shallow part of the ocean. But regardless, that's a pretty cool addition for being a fishman. Minks are more agile, but let's just say a weakness for them would be possibly less health or something, just because there has to be, you can't just make a race better than another one. There has to have better things, but then worse things. A long arm tribe, a little better range, because they can reach further in melee attacks, and I'm guessing, and I sort of made that they would probably have a bit less defense, because, you know, their long limbs probably wouldn't be able to defend themselves and be good in real close range stuff. Long leg, just like I said, a little faster and more effective kick attacks. So you could really base it around what character you want to make, if you want to make a Sanji type character or whatever. And yeah, so back to the whole pirate, marine, CP agent, or revolutionary. I wanted to make it a bit more focused, at least at the beginning. At the beginning, you get to choose a path of being a pirate or a marine on your starting island, which puts you on the world government side or against the world government side. That's pretty much the two sides you mainly choose, and then you get to span off into different things such as CP agent or a revolutionary. As you progress through a marine, as being a marine, you'll be able to get the opportunity to become a CP agent. So that's how you become a CP agent. Or you can just continue becoming a marine and go up the ranks. And yeah, so you get to progress in one of those directions if you want. Similarly, as you progress as a pirate, you'll be given an opportunity to become a revolutionary. Because revolutionaries, you don't just get to be a revolutionary wherever you are. You have to find the meth. You have to be sort of invited into that group. A pirate, you get to choose to be a pirate. A marine, yes, you have to be invited to be a marine, but it's a lot less secretive than a CP agent. A marine, you just go up to a marine, and if they let you win, they'll let you win, you know? Similar to how Kobe got in. So yeah, so there's a lot of options, and I think that would make this game already endless. And so you get to progress into those different directions, or continue progressing as just an ordinary pirate, which is fine. So basically there's two main directions: for the marine or against the marine, and then as you progress in one of those directions, you then can find other avenues such as the revolutionary or the CP agent. If you choose it to be a pirate, or even if you're a marine, then no matter what, because I know some game ideas that people come up with, they're like, oh, I'd want to be in a crew with my friends. So you join a crew literally with online friends. But the problem with that is that what happens if you're all not playing at the same time? People are going to be, the crew's going to be so disjointed, people playing at different times, and then what happens to the rest of the crew? Do they become computer controlled? It just doesn't make sense. But you can still play with your friends, but they will be the captain. They'll be the captain of their own thing. So basically, they'll be the captain of their own crew, so you'll basically be joining an alliance with them. And I think that way, the game doesn't sort of get broken when, you know what, I'm going to do my own thing. When if you're in a crew and you're doing your own thing all the time, and let's say someone in that crew never plays the game, that destroys the crew, that destroys the it'll basically break up your immersion of the game. And yeah, so you wouldn't want to join a crew with your friends because yeah, once they're not playing, once they want to do different things, it's restrictive. So when you play the game, you're basically the captain of your own crew, and the crew is computers, and that gives you the opportunity to find any characters around the world and make them join your crew. And you get to choose who's in it. You get to choose your crew name. You get to design your Jolly Roger, and you can also focus your stats into an additional role of the crew as well as being the captain. So that could be one problem. People could be like, oh, but what if I don't want to be the captain? What if I want to be more of a cook? No matter what, you're going to be the captain unless you don't want anyone on your crew. Then that's fine. But you get to focus into other stats. You can also be a cook if you want. You get to also be a doctor. You can be a shipwright and a cook. You get to, obviously you won't be as good at either one because you have to focus points into that, but you can pretty much be what you want to be as well as a captain. But that way there's no restriction. That way you don't have to discuss with other people what the Jolly Roger is going to be. You get to make your own Jolly Roger and get to make your own crew. And then you can join alliances with friends, and you can even make a flag for your alliance, and that you can converse with and figure out along with your friends. Here's just an example of the perks of each role in the crew. So cooks make buffs for your characters, and such as more damage, more defense, more health, stuff like that. I was going to make cooks just get to heal you, but then that's what the doctors will be. So doctors, they make medicine and heal you and heal your crew. Shipwrights, they can make, they can repair, and they can upgrade your ship without having to go to town or paying for a shipwright. So if you collect materials, so you don't have to have a shipwright in your crew, you don't even have to be a shipwright. You can just go to towns and have shipwrights work on or make your ship. Or you could become a shipwright as well as a captain and make your own ship, or you can get a shipwright into your crew and they can make, repair, and upgrade your ship. And that way it's a lot less expensive, and all you have to do is just find materials around the world. So there's examples of each role and how they're important in their own way. And you could choose to have 3 cooks. You could have a whole crew of cooks if you want, but then you might be lacking in other areas of your crew and other roles that could be fulfilled by other type of characters. Your character's inventory is only so big, but you can upgrade it as well as your crew and your ship. And if you upgrade your ship will have a larger inventory in stock. So you can also put your materials, if you're full on your inventory, you can always store it in your ship, and the bigger your ship, the bigger you could put, the more stuff you could put into it. And you can also name your ship, which would be pretty awesome. This means that you might need to refill you and your crew's inventory at the ship before continuing exploring your island, because you can only carry so much, so you might need to go back to your ship. So that sort of creates dependence a bit, so you don't just leave your ship and run away from it and get to go wherever you want. There needs to be some sort of restriction, but as you upgrade your inventory, you might not need to go back to your ship as much. So basically you get to have the fun of going around to different islands and finding characters along the way to join your crew. And yet there might be a restriction early on in the game where you could only have so many in your crew, but you can extend that as you become a better and better pirate. And basically how good you are as a pirate would be shown through your bounty, and as good as you are as a marine will be based around your rank as a marine. So that they're your 2 ways of climbing up the ranks. You can buy or make a ship depending on where you are or which characters you interact with, just like I said. Or if you focus on shipwright skills, you can even create your own ship, like I said. Okay, so this is where I think the genius of this game that I have not made. I would love to make this game if I could. But this is where some people, when they think of a One Piece game, I think it gets ruined, basically devil fruits. In the One Piece world how it is now, in the story, there's only one type of each devil fruit, and if you eat it, that's it. Now that doesn't work well in a game, at least for me. Maybe it would for you, but not for me. That means people playing the game will either never eat a devil fruit because they don't want to commit to one, or they're not eating a devil fruit for years and years and years and years and years because they're searching for the right thing. And you could say, oh, that's the fun of it and that makes it realistic, but I want a game where people are interacting with other devil fruit users. And I just don't like the idea that once you eat it, that's it. So what I came up with, because there already are artificial devil fruits in the One Piece world, but when you eat it, it still works as an ordinary devil fruit. You can't eat it, that you're stuck with it basically. What I've come up with is you can find and eat special artificial devil fruits which can be removed if you want. Now, I don't want it to be easily removed, but I basically came up with this idea. Let's just say in this storyline, I like to build up my own canon in this as well as following the main canon. I like the idea that Vegapunk has come up with this new type of artificial devil fruit, and he has his own scientists around the world. So you go, let's say you eat an artificial devil fruit, let's say it's the smoke fruit. That then allows other people who are playing the game can also eat a smoke fruit, because it's an artificial fruit, you can make more of them. Because otherwise, I feel like that's so unfair that if someone eats the smoke fruit, no matter what you do in the game, unless I guess if you kill that person, but let's face it, how the hell are you supposed to find that person? You can never have the smoke fruit. So, I came up with the idea with having these artificial devil fruits. You can now eat a fruit, and there will be more types of those fruits, but you can also then remove them. Removing them will be difficult, and you need to find a Vegapunk scientist somewhere in the One Piece world on a random island, and through that way you can get them removed. But I'm going to stick by a rule that you cannot eat more than one devil fruit. I feel like that will then get a bit too stupid, people doing way too much stuff. And it being too broken. I want to keep by the One Piece world as much as possible while making it still an enjoyable game that still works. And I just don't think it works well if once someone eats that fruit, they can't get rid of it. No one else can eat that fruit. And then also I don't like the idea that once you die, that fruit's completely gone. But I could understand people not liking the idea of there being more than one type of the same devil fruit. But there are some rarer ones where they'll be less common, so there'll be less of them. Anyways, so basically you can upgrade skills in any way you want, and techniques such as Rokushiki, so you can do the finger pistol, you can do the skywalk, you can do shave, you can do the flying kicks, you can do all that. You could focus yourself on Fishman Karate, you could focus yourself on swordsmanship, or other skills, and it'll basically be a skill tree. So maybe you want to be a specialist and focus on one of them, or you might want to be a bit more well-rounded and have specialties. You could do a bit of Fishman Karate, you could do a bit of the Rokushiki, and you can really base that on how you want to make the character. There's so much in this. I'm just getting started. Honestly, I think it'll be such a fun game. So you have to incorporate those skills with Haki or your Devil Fruit with your fighting style. So let's say if you're a swordsman and you use the attack buttons, such as in this case it'll be square and triangle, to slash with your sword and hold down R1, you'll be utilizing your Devil Fruit technique with your attacking technique, such as turning into fire and using fire techniques. If you're a Flame Logia user, basically. Or you can press and hold down R2 to utilize Armament Haki with your techniques. So, while you're doing Finger Pistol, you could press the Devil Fruit, icon, the R1, which would make you use your devil fruit, but then use your devil fruit with a finger pistol and shoot basically a fireball as you do that, and then you could add Haki onto that. But obviously there'll be a bar for each one. You could only use it so much, just like in the real One Piece series. Your Haki can run out. If you focus your points onto Geppo in the Rokushiki skill tree, just like Lucci or whatever, you can make your character skywalk higher or faster or further. So that one Geppo ability, the skywalk ability, has its own tree where you get to go higher with it, you get to go further with it, and you get to go faster with it per jump. So in this case, because jump would be X, I'm assuming this would be on PS4, because that's what I play. Tapping X, if you double tap X usually in a game that's double jump, or if you have the Rokushiki technique, if you keep tapping X, you'll start skywalking upwards. So I've really thought of the mechanics of how this game would work as well. What else? So, for example, holding circle or pressing circle would be block, and if you move your character at the same time, it will be ability. If you have the Rokushiki techniques, you'll be able to shave. So shave in One Piece is just almost vanish. You're moving so fast to another area. It's basically like you're teleporting. And the more you upgrade that, the further you'll be able to shave. And also the more you upgrade it, you'll be able to shave more consecutively and more faster in between each other. So let's say if you had an early shave, you press circle and do it once, and you won't be able to do it for like another second. So you'll be shave, 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 shave. But as you upgrade it, you'll just be able to spam it, and you'll be shaving all over the place, and it will look like you're just disappearing and appearing around your enemy. More buttons, so yeah, square or triangle by itself is just standard attacks, using a basic style you've chosen, such as swords or fists. If you hold down R1, you'll start implementing your devil fruit. So for your Logia, you'll start to become more intangible. You'll start actually, stick with the flame fruit. If you punch with using your devil fruit, you'll do the Shigun and you'll basically do flame fist. L1 will be incorporating your more technical techniques such as Rokushiki, Fishman Karate, etc. If you hold down R2, it'll be Armament Haki. So I've made each button so you can distinguish which Haki you're using. If you're using L2, you start using Observation Haki. Observation Haki, you get to see through walls and around you. You'll get to see little icons saying, "Oh, this is where a treasure chest is." You'll get to just holding it down while attacking an enemy. You'll be able to there'll be a stat on your character which is evasion, and while you're holding that down, you'll be taking less damage even though they're hitting you, because your evasion will be going up. So basically they're hitting you, but they're not hitting you as cleanly because you have your Observation Haki up. And if you press R2 and L2 at the same time, now this is only for some characters who focus on this skill tree, they'll be able to do Conqueror's Haki. And that will basically stun or basically knock out a character that's far below your level. Obviously, the more you upgrade it, you'll be able to start to affect people who are more on your level, but it would only affect them a bit. It'll probably stun them a bit, and that sort of thing. You need to at least be the same level or higher to recruit a crew member, so that way you don't just run into a level 100 computer character and just go, "Yep, join my crew," even though you've just started. So that way you need to work your way up, and that way you'll always be as strong or stronger than your crew members, which makes sense because you're the captain. And what you can also do is when you recruit a member, you get to strengthen your bond with them. And that's when I like that idea, because you think, why would you want to be a musician? I like the idea of a musician having the stats and the skill to be able to strengthen your bond with your crew faster. Because if you're playing music together, you're bonding with your crew. So that's an actual tangible way of having a musician be actually effective in your crew. So let's say you join a crew, you get a really good shipwright to join your crew. If they have a very negative personality, which you'll be able to see that in their character bio, when they join your crew, they might not be able to do that much shipwriting stuff for you. Even though they might be really good at being a shipwright, you might need to build that bond with them in order to acquire them being able to do those upgrades or whatever. And there's many ways you could build a bond with your crew members. The simplest way is just by having them, the longer they are on your crew, the slowly and gradually the bond for that crew member will raise, and that'll create a reason for wanting to keep your crew members around, other than just making them expendable. Yes, you might want to get rid of a crew member because there's a better crew member to get, but you also need to take into account, once you get a new crew member, you need to restart that bond with them. So there's a bit of risk and reward there. And there might be some characters with an easier going personality, in which case getting a bond with them and building a bond with them is easier. Yeah, so moving on, so you'll have a health bar and a haki bar. The haki bar goes down while you use observation or armament haki, and goes down twice as fast if you're using both. Your haki bar must be full for you to use Conqueror's haki, and it will make your bar completely empty when you use it. So that way it's a pretty big deal to use Conqueror's haki. So let's just use an example of, let's say I start this game. So when you start this game, you get an intro, this epic intro with the narrator basically saying this is the One Piece world. Goldie Roger created the new pirate era when he was executed, and stated the One Piece is out there, and basically that makes everyone want to set out into the seas, and it says including you. And then it goes into character customization. You get to choose your character, you get to choose everything, and at the beginning you don't literally get to choose, oh, I'm a marine or pirate. You just make your character, okay? You choose your basic clothes, and you get to choose your race, every single thing, like I said, your height, and then your gender, everything, and then you choose your blue. You get to choose north, south, east, or west. And depending on that blue, you could actually see those characters who originated in those blues, or at least people that knew them, and you get to see them before the events of the series that we know of when Luffy set sail. Just like, for instance, like I said, you get to see Luffy, or you get to go to the dojo and you'll see Zoro there, or see Zoro bounty hunting, depending on exactly which, basically where the time actually takes place, because I haven't completely confirmed that. Yeah, sorry, this is a long video, but this is so much to talk about. When you choose your blue, because you don't get to choose it, you don't get to start in the Grand Line or the New World or the Calm Belt. You have to go there yourself. Basically, you choose the blue and you start off on a pretty basic bland island. It's just the starting island. Pretty much everyone starts on that island. There might be a few other ones where people get to start on, and it's a pretty ordinary island, but there'll also be Marines there. So if you want to be a Marine, you get to go there and talk to the Marines, and you'll get to join the ranks and work your way up. Or you get to, pretty much just get a ship and set off as a pirate, and maybe even look for a crew member there. Depending on how good your ship is, you'll be able to fast travel, but the only way you fast travel is if you've been to that island before. And you won't be able to just jump across the entire world if you've been to 2 islands which are on the other side of the world. You won't be able to go there. You'll have to sort of hopscotch in terms of fast travel. So it will sort of promote you actually traveling the world of One Piece. And as you travel between islands, there'll be little mini islands with maybe some treasure chests, maybe some materials, maybe some interesting characters to talk to. And yeah, you could be a swordsman and seek out to verse Dracula Mihawk, and you could actually end up versing him if you make it to that creepy island with all the baboons where he stays, and where Zoro stayed with him for a while and trained with him. You can actually verse, these characters. You can interact with these characters. You can see Whitebeard or Shanks out there and do special missions with them. And yeah, I think it's pretty amazing. I think I might make a part 2 to this. I could talk about this my whole life. I honestly think this is the best idea for a game. I think this would be... I would never stop playing this game, and I think a lot of people wouldn't be able to stop playing this game. If I come up with more stuff, which I'm sure I will be, I'm sure I will come up with more stuff, or if you have any questions or ideas for how I could implement ideas into this game, please let me know and I'll make a part 2 to this. Honestly, I hope a game like this gets to be made one day. It would literally be the best thing ever. Anyway, so I guess the last thing I'll say is that once you start in your blue, you then obviously want to make your way to the Grand Line, and then you want to make your way into the New World, and that's where territories become a big deal. And it's basically, if you played RuneScape, it's the wilderness of RuneScape. Basically, it's the crazy place where people will be battling each other for territory, and it becomes a lot more competitive. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this different video, and I'm happy to be back. I'm glad I'm back. I hope you guys enjoy me being back. If you're new to this channel, I hope you enjoyed this. I'm planning on making a lot more One Piece related videos soon. Please let me know what you want, what sort of One Piece videos you want me to do. I respond to every single person who comments on my channel. I really hope you enjoyed. Like, subscribe, comment, do whatever you like, and as always, keep talking One Piece.